Years ago, when I just started doing this kind of work, I was teaching a class at a writers' conference, and it was about success and failure. We were talking about that, among other things. And at the end of the class, I was taking questions, and this woman raised her hand, the back of the class, she raised her hand, and she said, writing to me isn't the problem. I love writing. It's the rest of life. Compared to writing, I don't like it. I find it uncomfortable and difficult. I wish I could just be writing all the time. And she was the first person I'd heard articulate this so bluntly, that I love to create, I love writing, the rest, I could do without. And there's a couple of reasons for that, I think. Because, as challenging as writing can be, and that's why I do this podcast, is I know how difficult it can be when you're out of flow and when you're trying to force things. But when it's going well, it's as good as life gets. Yes, it is. When it's going well, that's it, baby. You're tapped in, you're doing it. But I know that what can happen is the rest of life can, in fact, sometimes seem sort of stale or difficult or boring or scary compared to creativity. Why is that? Well, as I talked about in a previous podcast, part of that has to do with the unknown, that writing is all about the exploration of the unknown. That is what we're doing there. We don't know where the story's going, whether we outline or not. There is our curiosity is our guide into the unknown. And curiosity is fearless because it loves the unknown. So that's part of it. You go out into the world like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And when anything can happen, or anything would, when anything could happen, maybe it'll be the worst. And so your imagination pictures the worst. So part of our fear about life away from the desk compared to writing is that our relationship to the unknown. But there's another aspect to it, which is this: life is inherently creative. It is a creative experience. Every action we take, every thought we think creates. It's like a stream always moving. We are creative by nature. And I don't just mean artistically creative. I just mean, look at this room I'm in. It didn't grow out of the ground. It was built by someone. I painted it. I decorated it. It was created. We're always creating. Whether we choose to participate in that consciously in that creation or not. And when we don't participate consciously, we start feeling like life is random because things are happening anyway. Creation is happening anyway. And if we don't participate deliberately, then the outcomes of that creation seem random, seem outside of our power, and it makes us anxious. But when we write, we are participating as deliberately as we can because the page is blank. And we know everything that shows up on that page is a choice we made. And so we feel we are doing what we're meant to do, which is create on purpose. And it doesn't stop just because we're not writing anymore. Life is still creative. The life energy, the evolutionary life energy coursing through us is still happening. And the only question is whether we will participate in it or not. It's like elections in a way. If an election is coming up, an election happens, there's going to be an election. And either you vote or you don't. And if you don't vote, someone's going to vote. And there's going to be a result of that voting. And you will live with the result, whether you voted or not. And so you will live with the results of the creation happening around you, whether you participate consciously or not. When you start participating deliberately in the creativity of life, the creative nature of your life, you are instantly less anxious because things don't feel so random anymore. You understand the choices you make and the consequences of it. It's just like writing, man. Writing is such good practice for paying attention to how you think and the words you choose and the actions you take. It's the best practice I know. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It makes you smarter, better, stronger, happier. Yes, it does. And that's why I'm so glad you listen to this podcast and that you do your own work. So, as always, if you don't want to miss a dose, subscribe. It helps. I don't know why, but it does, right? We don't have to know why. I just trust them when they tell me. And if you like it, say so. I do love to hear from you. So, until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.